The story begins 3 million years ago on Earth, the dawn of humankind. As we know, apes are the ancestors of humans, living in primitive times. And the protagonist of our story is one of them. Mu is simply a southern ape man. He loves hunting. It seems to be the ideal life for him. But strangely, Mu doesn't die after thousands of years. As time passes, his kind gradually disappears, leaving him alone in that desolate land. Countless eras pass, but they seem to have no effect on him. He evolves from ape to primitive man, then develops into a complete human. What keeps Mu alive through endless time is hunting, skirmishes, and battles. These are his only joys. Over 3 million years, Mu's body has evolved to suit combat, muscles and veins bulging. Relying only on physical strength, he has become a god. Now, Mu sits in space, guarding Earth. He is Earth God Mu, ranked first in the divine realm and responsible for the planet Earth. Mu idly swings his legs, bored. Ugh, so boring. Instantly, he stomps his foot down hard. The force is so great that the entire planet shifts, unleashing a massive amount of power that pierces through the continent. The holy kingdom of gods shakes violently, causing the gods there to panic. Lucifer, a second-ranked god responsible for the planet Elmer, is extremely angry when he sees this. Again, Mu, resting his chin on his hand, says to himself, I feel like I've fought everyone worth fighting, and now there's no one who can match me. He sighs, muttering, when was the last time I fought? About a year ago? So even being too strong is a problem, huh? Mu suddenly understands. You can't fight because you're too strong. It seems Mu has just been enlightened. Then I just need to get weaker, right? After asking himself, he adds self-importantly, I'm a genius. Mu immediately has an idea. With the weak bodies of humans from Earth, there will be no shortage of opponents to fight. Thinking this, he immediately calls out, Yang. Immediately, a blue dragon appears. He lands on the ground, his body huge, his eyes gleam with red light, his aura exuding majesty and strength. Not even 3 seconds after looking cool, he shrinks back and bows, asking Mu, did you call for me, Yang? Mu walks towards Earth, waving his hand and instructing, while I'm gone, make sure to take good care of everything. The dragon confusedly cries out, Yang? Then, he reacts, releasing power from his hand, summoning a small orb that turns into 2 magic circles, absolute binding. Large chains sprout out, wrapping tightly around Mu. Yang's eyes are red with determination. But a second later, he stammers, where are you going, master? Not even an explanation. A group of gods is coming. What are you planning to do? Mu doesn't bother to pay attention and continues walking, dragging Yang, who is a huge dragon, behind him. Ah, please. Yang cries helplessly. What am I supposed to do if you just leave like this? I don't even know where you're going or why. So what am I supposed to do in the meeting? Everyone might vent their frustration on me and treat me like a thug. Was I born for this? I feel so worthless. Mu uses a little strength to break the chains around him. He turns back with a terrifying face and asks, want a beating? Yang, weakened and intimidated, immediately freezes. Have a safe journey, Yang. Mu reaches out. I'm going. He touches the earth, feeling it. Now, whose body should I borrow? Countless voices come from inside, with pleas like, please God, let the world end. I don't want to go to work, and curses like, if there really is a God, go eat shit. And if you exist, then take me to another world. This last sentence surprises Mu. He laughs excitedly. Alright, you will be the chosen one. As a reward, I will fulfill your wish. Yang is still sniffling, standing behind him forlornly. Mu glances back apologetically, thinking to himself, should I explain a little? He speaks, I will leave my body behind, so take good care of it. I'm leaving it in your hands, because it's you. Take good care of the one who will come here in my place. Yang panics. You're only taking the soul? That's not allowed. If the body dies while the soul is still inside, the soul will be destroyed too. Mu confidently says, why worry so much? He turns back, smirking. I'll be back soon. Yang worriedly shouts, that's not allowed. It's too dangerous. With that, Mu's soul comes out of his forehead, accompanied by a dazzling light emanating from Earth. He screams madly. At this moment, somewhere within the Earth, a scene is playing out in a game where a male character has just defeated a monster, panting. Finally, I defeated it, he happily exclaims, the Demon King. The game ends, and Lee Ho sighs, ah, it's over. With my cheat abilities, I easily became a munchkin in another world. He chuckles. So, is this the end of the harem in another world? Lucky bastard. Lee Ho gives up and releases his phone. It was fun though. The phone falls to the ground, shattering the screen. His figure in the dark, gloomy night stands on the rooftop. Now I can die without regrets. Lee Ho shivers and curses. This damned world. Then, Without hesitation, he jumps down. Goodbye, perhaps this life has been too tiring. Lee Ho desperately cries and sobs, if there is a god, then go eat shit, damn it. If you exist, then take me to another world. As quick as lightning, he slams straight into the ground, blood splattering. Just when it seems he has died, suddenly his hand twitches. He painfully lifts himself up. It turns out that Mu has entered this body. He also feels this extreme pain. What is this? What is this? At the same time, Lee Ho's soul is transported outside Earth. He stares blankly at the dragon 100 times his size in front of him. Both he and the dragon are taken by surprise, trembling with fear. Who are you? At the same time, elsewhere, a similar beam of light shines directly into Lee Ho's eyes. He's startled and widens his eyes. Mu, not understanding what just happened, feels himself about to hit the ground. Bam! A loud noise, and he crashes to the ground. His glasses shatter. Lying flat on the ground, a stream of dark red blood flows from his body. Mu groans in pain. What is this? I just arrived. He shakily tries to reach out, but this body is too weak and has no strength left. Mu lies motionless in the pool of blood. Muscles that move without conscious control are called involuntary muscles. The heart and the muscles of internal organs are examples. Mu, who has spent 3 million years honing his physical body, has reached the pinnacle of understanding the human form. He can consciously control every part of his body and blood vessels, and even involuntary muscles are no exception. The body, which had been motionless, suddenly lights up. The heart inside him beats strongly again. Mu shouts in extreme pain. He clutches his chest, silently thinking, I fixed the heart. By adjusting the blood vessels, I even stopped the bleeding. Mu pushes himself up, saying to himself, it's been a long time since I lost this much blood. This person is no longer Lee Ho, but Mu. In other words, Mu is now living in Lee Ho's body. His eyes light up with excitement. Coming here was definitely the right decision. He rubs his nose, frowning. Now then, let's review his memories. Okay, first, I'll go back to base. Saying this, Mu stands up, but perhaps because of what happened earlier, his whole body can't stand steadily and he can only stagger forward. He presses his hands on the ground, feeling a little impatient. At this rate, it'll probably take all day to get there. Annoying. With those words, Mu inverts himself, using his hands to walk. A while later, at the Earthling Lee Ho's house, in a shabby room, he sits on the bed, pondering. After spending hours exploring his memories, I finally understand. He has a relative, but they live far away. Basically, Lee Ho lives alone. To put it simply, he's poor or miserable. His job is attending a place called school. Mu suddenly frowns. And also, at that school, someone picks on him every time he goes. He thinks pensively about what the real Lee Ho had to go through, and his eyes turn cold. Suddenly, Mu clenches his fist, grinning. Wonderful. He swings his fist forward, saying with a delighted voice, I can just jump in and have a fight. Like this. Mu is startled and suddenly stops. A feeling of soreness from muscle strain comes from his arm. Mu grimaces, holding his trembling arm, wondering, was it because of that handstand? This body isn't used to using those muscle groups. Muscle soreness. He suddenly grins, a bizarre expression appearing on his face. He laughs like a maniac with a perverted look. Muscle soreness after 1,000 years. Truly refreshing. The next morning is a beautiful sunny morning. The sun is high, illuminating everything. At this time, in the schoolyard, barriers have been stretched out to prevent students from approaching the scene of the incident. The students, seeing this scene, are buzzing with discussion. What happened? Why is there so much blood? Mu, happily humming a few lines, sees the principal in the distance, awkwardly talking to the police. He quickly turns his head and walks in the other direction. The teacher's voice rings out in the classroom. Page 56, first line, the emergence of socialist thought in the early 1920s, mainly in young intellectual groups. Suddenly, bam, the classroom door is yanked open. The one who caused this noise is none other than Mu. He only manages to say one word, here, when the door suddenly bounces back and slams into his face. Mu frowns, rubbing his face. At this moment, his cousin, Guokchul, holding a phone, suddenly notices him. He looks at Mu and asks, hey, idiot Lee Ho, what are you doing? Mu, busy rubbing his face, glances at him. Mu slowly walks towards him. He stands in front of him, silently looking at him. Suddenly, he breaks into an eerie smile. It's you, isn't it? He puts his phone down on the desk, saying with a mocking tone, are you crazy? Where are your glasses? As soon as he finishes speaking, he slaps him hard across the face, smirking. He looks at him contemptuously, saying with a mocking voice, did you sell them? Without glasses, you're even more defenseless than an old woman, ha ha ha. Drops of blood drip to the ground. He remains silent, not saying anything. Mu has his own rules when it comes to fighting. A fight only begins when all parties involved have shown their willingness to fight. And while he is always ready for a fight, the key lies in the opponent's intention. And the way to confirm that is with the opponent's first strike. Mew smiles in satisfaction. Finally, he sees him smiling and sneers. Smiling? You're clearly crazy. Before he can finish speaking, he lunges forward, grabbing his collar with one hand and clenching the other into a fist. He slams the fist straight into the face of the arrogant guy in front of him. As soon as the punches land, he feels a bone-deep pain coming from his hand. Mew grimaces, his face contorting like a dried date. Ugh. Right, muscle soreness. At this moment, a loud shout comes from the podium. The teacher angrily slams the desk, shouting, "You guys, what are you doing in class?" The whole class is now in a commotion, turning their heads to watch. One student says loudly, "A fight broke out." He, in pain, feeling blood flowing from his nose, angrily curses, "Damn it." He lunges quickly towards him like a madman. "You crazy bastard." Mew no less quickly goes into a defensive stance, raising his hand to block. He calculates in his head, "If my body were in good condition, I could have dodged that much, but if it's like this." Mew slightly curves his mouth. Third, fourth. He glances behind him without paying attention to him. Because of that, he takes another punch from him. Oh right, the energy of Earth. He continues to punch him angrily, shouting, "Don't mess with me." Mew bites his lip, thinking, "I don't have many options here." He quickly returns to a defensive position. "If I can't use my elbows, legs, or magic," Mew smirks. He lowers his head, using his head to block his punch. Crack! The sound of bones breaking rings out. He looks at his hand in pain, cursing. Arg, damn it. Moo, with a triumphant expression, thinks, thin finger bones can't beat a skull. He quickly adjusts his mood before he can recover. He takes the momentum and lunges forward, grabbing his painful arm. Moo holds his arm tightly and uses his head to push hard into his body, a human weakness. He shouts in pain, "Kia!" He bends down to continue taking the momentum, and if I continue after that, Mew slams his head hard into his chin. The last strike was probably the finishing blow, rendering him unable to resist. He collapses to his knees on the ground in front of him. Not even a few seconds later, his whole body is lying flat on the floor. The students in the classroom are all busy recording with their phones. They cover their mouths in shock. The boy with glasses, not believing his eyes, stutters, "WH what?" Another person says in amazement, "Lee Ho won? But yesterday, he was beaten black and blue and ran home." Moo says nothing, silently looking at the one who was arrogant and beating him just now lying motionless in front of him. After a fight ends and the excitement subsides, there is something that can only be felt at that moment. He winces, the sharp pain in the places he was hit, the salty, sticky taste of blood seeping into his mouth. Mew swallows, causing his Adam's apple to move slightly. Suddenly, he laughs heartily, a bizarre look on his face. That's it. Mew realizes, after a fight ends and the excitement subsides, there's something that can only be felt at that moment. The sharp pain in the places he was hit, the salty, sticky taste of blood seeping into his mouth. He's so excited that he's trembling. That's it. He wearily kneels next to him and says softly, "Thank you." Then Moo leans his mouth close, drawl dripping, ready to attack him again. Splurt! Blood sprays out forcefully, flooding his mouth, making him spit it out uncomfortably. The people around him, seeing the scene before them, are sweating profusely. He just tore his ear off. Is he crazy for real? Lightly wiping away the drops of blood splashed on his face, he looks gleefully at his ear-torn opponent. "It's been so long since I've had such a fun fight." Mew always leaves his mark on those who have given him an interesting fight. It's his way of expressing gratitude and marking them as toys that can bring him joy. They are named Mew's toys. Only brave warriors can bring Mew joy through battles, making Mew's toys symbols of strength. However, on Earth, it is seen as something else entirely. The fight between the two ends a little before the next class begins. And of course, no student can stop talking about it. "Hey, did you hear about the fight in class 2? The other one yawns, replying with an uninterested face, "A fight? Big deal." The remaining one follows up, "Yeah, but I heard something strange." The yawning one starts to get curious. "What is it?" The friend replies, "The bully was defeated by the wimp he was bullying, and the loser in the fight got castrated. The loser of the battle with Moo has been rushed to the hospital on a stretcher. Meanwhile, he's cheerfully looking down out the window, pleased to see him lying flat in one place. Mobile treatment service, nice." Mew waves at the ambulance. "See you again." Just then, the subject teacher walks over with a grim face. "Lee Ho!" To the teacher's office. He roars in the room, shouting straight at him, "Have you lost your mind? You did that to a classmate." But Moo doesn't care. He laughs gleefully while he keeps getting punched. "Keep going. Hit me." Suddenly, the subject teacher stops, turning his face away, looking indifferent. "Humph, why should I talk to you? I'll call your parents." He temporarily lets Mu off. Don't cause trouble today, and go home early. He is secretly overjoyed. No more hitting? But he still pretends to ask, go home early? On the way home, Mu walks and reflects. Going home early means going back to base. Luckily, I also need time to recover from those injuries. There are many things I need to do if I want to continue fighting with this weak body. If only I could use mana, power beyond humanity. Mana. In some places, it's called chi or chakra, but most gods call it mana. The life force that exists everywhere in nature, mana. It allows people to become hunters in some worlds, and magicians in others. But on Earth, mana doesn't exist, so magic and skills can't be used. He tries to restore his ability to use mana, but it seems like everything is still the same. Still no progress? Mu recalls the fight earlier. Maybe I'll need to adapt to fighting without those things. Arriving, he flops down on the bed, the fatigue no longer needing to be hidden. Recovery will take time. I should go back to base. Mu returns to his original form. A strange noise rings out. He realizes it's his familiar secretary, Yang. I'm back. Looking closer, Mu sees Li Ho's soul riding on his neck. The student climbs down and makes a suggestion. Take me to that dragon. He tries to persuade and threaten. Aren't you the one who called to bring me to another world? While you're doing that, you could give him to me too. Li Ho secretly plots in his head, with a dragon, I can rule another world. Feeling that he's too much of a nuisance, Mu raises his hand and lifts Li Ho up. What a weirdo. He feels extremely suffocated in that huge palm. What the heck? What are you doing? But he doesn't bother to pay attention to his reaction. I'll take you to another world. The scene shifts to Lucifer's territory, the one ranked second on the list. This is the place to go to another world that Mu was talking about. My apologies, Yang. Lucifer, having just caught a glimpse of them, immediately says, no. Yang is surprised. Huh? I haven't said anything yet. Mu speaks up. Yes, I'll take him there. Open the gate. He glares at Mu. Why do you have the right to decide that? He's extremely confident. Because I'm stronger. If you have a problem, just make a move. I'm always ready at any time. He's furious. A fool with only strength. Not even waiting for Lucifer to react any further, Mu strides to the gate. Okay, I'll take care of it myself. Move aside. He warns, what are you doing? Interfering in another god's territory is taboo among gods. If a god without authority touches it, a barrier will activate, even for you. Before Lucifer can finish speaking, Mu has punched and shattered the orb, making his face turn pale. He sneers, why always no? Have you ever tried, you lazy bum? TCH. He's still in shock. But, that's how the laws of the world work. The hand that has been holding Li Ho this whole time finally releases him. Mu looks at him and orders, hey, go in. Li Ho is surprised. Huh? He explains, didn't you say you wanted to go to another world? Here's another world. He's scared. Yeah. What about the dragon? Mu replies, find your own Yang. This Yang is mine, so no. Li Ho argues, no, it's not like that. But before he can explain, the giant hand flicks him into the orb, causing Li Ho to only mutter, I wanted to be superior. Mu remarks dejectedly, these kids nowadays, all they do is wait for freebies. Having finished, he bids him farewell and leaves immediately. I'm going, take good care of him. He seems very angry about the action just now. Lucifer originally came from his own territory, the planet Elmer. He was known as the first demon king and stood above all life. With arrogance, he challenged the one called God, and killed the god. Then, he took the position of God, and defeated the other gods to seize the ultimate position. He became the god of gods, their supreme being. Invincible, supreme, legendary, and unique. Devastating but mysterious, infinite and superior. Anyway, he was amazing, until Mu appeared. Lucifer vows to himself, just you wait, you bastard born from lowly humans. He secretly sends a subordinate to follow and monitor Mu and Yang. The two step out of the territory without realizing it. Let's go. Huff, my back, Yang. Lucifer, his face red with anger, his features contorted, trembling, gritting his teeth, growls, just you wait, you bastard born from lowly humans. At the same time, in another place, the two-toned dark mossy green-haired guy is also resentful. He grinds his teeth, trembling with anger. I swear, I'm going to kill you, you disastrous loser. The two-toned dark mossy green-haired guy, struggling to lift himself up, picks up his phone with difficulty, saying, it thinks it's strong, huh? But really, it's finished. He struggles to scroll through his contacts list with malicious intent. Let me call Chul Hyung. In a gym, a powerful punch is delivered straight into a punching bag. That powerful blow is from Kang Chul, a 3-time national youth sports champion, middleweight boxing champion. Suddenly, from the locker, The light of a phone and the sound of vibrations indicate an incoming call, interrupting his training, causing Kang Chul to frown slightly. He glances back, sweat pouring down him, suspicious. Suddenly, Kang Chul asks, "Who's calling?" His training partner walks closer, hands in his pockets, casually. "Oh, it's mine." He walks over, picks up the phone, and answers. Guok Shul, who has 2 years of boxing experience, 14 training sessions, calmly raises the phone. "Hello, what's up?" On the other end of the line, the two-toned dark mossy green-haired guy frowns, quickly speaking. "Hyung, it's me. Your phone screen is still broken, right? Do you want to buy a new one?" Chul frowns, not responding. Suddenly, Chul smirks. "Get straight to the point. In a classroom, the atmosphere here is cheerful." Suddenly, the back door is pushed open by the two-toned dark mossy green-haired guy, looking sullen. He walks in heavily, causing the class atmosphere to suddenly drop. Everyone cautiously observes him. But that atmosphere doesn't last long. Mocking sounds start to ring out. "Wow, look, how did he become like this after always bullying people?" They continue to talk, pretending to be tough, but he's nothing. "Was I afraid of him for no reason? Looks like he's about to get castrated. Haha." Those things are all heard by the two-toned dark mossy green-haired guy, causing him to get annoyed, his face darkening. Afterwards, the two-toned guy excitedly throws his bag hard on the ground, shouting, "Damn it." He looks at the ones who are talking in an aggressive way, veins on his face bulging. "You guys are intentionally whispering loud enough for me to hear, right? You cowards, if you want to say something, come say it to my face." Suddenly, Kim Yujin stands up, sighing. "Ha!" She frowns, reminding him, "Stop it. Sit down or go outside." The words, showing the officer's power, make the two-toned guy even more angry. He clenches his fist, gritting. "Are you crazy?" Afterwards, a chair is lifted from the unsteady hands of the two-toned guy. He angrily threatens, "You want to die, you crazy bitch?" Just then, the homeroom teacher walks in from the main door, suspiciously. Seeing him standing majestically in the middle of the podium, he asks, "What's going on? Why are you standing up, class president?" Kim Yujin hesitates, not answering. Although embarrassed, she quickly sits down, shyly replying, "Nothing, sir." The homeroom teacher remembers what he needs to say. "Ah, class president." He adds, "After class today, come see me for a moment." Kim Yujin is surprised. "Why?" The homeroom teacher smiles gently, explaining softly, "Lee Ho caused trouble yesterday, and he's not answering his phone. Can you check on him?" Saying this, he turns away, waving with a happy mood with an attractive condition. "I'll write you a great letter of recommendation for your senior year, please. Today is an important day, got it?" Kim Yujin frowns, biting her lip, crossing her arms, disliking it. She taps lightly on the door, politely asking, "Is anyone there?" Kim Yujin grabs the doorknob, politely asking again, "Is no one here?" "I'm coming in." She only pushes lightly, but the door is already wide open, surprising Kim Yujin. The door was already open? From inside the room, a male figure lies sprawled half on the bed, half on the ground. Next to him are cockroaches crawling around. Lee Ho, his eyes blank white, faints in the mess. Yujin is stunned, unable to say a word. At a large hospital, Lee Ho lies on a small hospital bed, an IV drip stuck in his hand. He's still in a long dream, his eyes still soulless, blank white. Suddenly, Lee Ho's body is possessed by Mu. He opens his eyes in surprise, vaguely wondering, "Where is this? It doesn't look like my memories." Suddenly, a pain from below rises up, causing Mu to painfully close one eye. He's horrified when he sees what's attached to Lee Ho's body. What? That thing makes Mu suspicious. This thing? He's interested. Something is flowing into my body, through my veins. They are nutrients. Mu warily thinks, they're absorbed very quickly. That thing is helping me recover. It's not magic, but the effect is impressive. Afterwards, he smiles eerily. It seems there are some good things on Earth too. Kim Yujin flinches, glancing at the bed. She worries while wearing her bag, asking, "Is something wrong?" Meanwhile, Yujin is a little scared, secretly asking, "Why is he smiling like that? Is he crazy?" She quickly stands up, wearing her bag, saying, "The homeroom teacher told me to go back to school. He told me to go see him first. He kept nagging, so I'm leaving first." Mu excitedly sits up, observing Kim Yujin suspiciously. "Is this the person who helped me recover?" He speaks, holding her back. "Wait a minute." Mu speaks, "I have a question." Kim Yujin stops, turning around, urging, "What is it? Hurry, I have things to do." Mu frowns, his eyes deep and dangerous, saying to himself, "I don't know enough about Earth. I need more information. The most important thing is," he smiles creepily while pulling out the IV drip, asking, "Do you know a place where I can train my body?" Kim Yujin suspiciously glances back warily. She sees his dazed appearance and doesn't want to say anything. But Kim Yujin speaks up, asking back, "You don't have any money, do you?" At a public exercise ground, Mu is actively training. After some time training, he's sweating profusely, breathing heavily, excitedly praising, "This place is pretty great." Mu, hands on hips, judges, "So this is the place called Sansuzhong." He starts to remember, professional training equipment? In my era, 4,000 years ago, those were arduous training sessions with dangerous exercises like rolling stones, climbing cliffs, digging holes. Mu compares while training. Those were all simple, basic training methods. But Earthlings, maybe they're stronger than I thought. Mu intently runs, thinking, "This thing is used like this?" He questions, "What is this train?" Suddenly, a rock is thrown at Mu's back by someone. The rock gradually falls, creating a sound. The two-toned guy aggressively, resentfully says, "Found you, Lee Ho." He's sweating like a shower, frowning. "I've been looking for you all over the neighborhood. Why are you here, huh?" Mu bends down, gently picking up the stone. His face darkening, asking softly, "Who threw the stone?" The two-toned guy is straightforward. "Who else? Who but me? Now you're definitely dead. My cousin has defeated all the third-year kids." Before he can finish bragging, he takes a fatal punch straight to the face. This causes the two-toned guy to fall hard to the ground, holding his nose, painfully roaring, "Ah, damn it." Mu, his face excited, smiling like a demon, asks and then challenges, "A preemptive attack? Welcome." At the meeting of the gods, they are sitting properly at a round marble table. Yang hesitantly announces, I will start the meeting now. Since Mu is not here, I will only convey his message." Elmer Lucifer suddenly calls out, "Hey," making him flinch. "Yang." He grinds his teeth, angrily asking, "What do you think you're doing?" Yang waves his hands, explaining, No, I'm not doing anything. I'm just conveying the message and leaving." Cough, cough. He clears his throat, saying, "Here is the message." Yang reads the paper. "As always, if you find someone worth fighting, report it. That's all." The gods all remain silent. Elmer Lucifer slams his hand on the table. His punch causes cracks to appear on the table. Elmer Lucifer mutters, "What use is this? I'm tired of these meaningless meetings." Now he doesn't even bother to show up. He asks the gods, "Are we really okay with this?" The gods remain silent, not saying anything. Suddenly, a god speaks. "These meetings are originally to ensure the stability of the world." The third-ranked god in the divine realm, God Gungsu, expresses, "When something unusual that the god of earth cannot resolve appears, we intervene and handle it." But this is ridiculous. His absence is truly disappointing. Elmer Lucifer stands up, shouting loudly, "The real problem is that maintaining the world seems to be just a game to that bastard. The entire system could collapse because of his reckless actions." He angrily asks, "And the worst thing is that his solutions always make things worse. Remember the Cyclops planet 1,000 years ago?" The god of Cyclops, ranked 9th in the divine realm, hearing this, panics and remembers. 1,000 years ago. On the red planet, the Cyclops planet. The monster clinging to the planet is the void creature Shoggoth. Suddenly, its whole body is blown apart. The one who destroyed it is Mu. He laughs with glee, having destroyed the Shoggoth. Back in the present, Elmer Lucifer roars, "If the gods cooperated, we could have minimized the damage. But instead, that idiot ruined everything, letting that creature swallow part of the planet." He trembles, saying, "I can't stand it anymore, having to witness him destroy everything. He doesn't deserve to be a god." Yang looks at the paper, panicking, thinking, Sir. He cries silently, "Why do I have to endure this trial? Please come back soon, please." On Earth, the bully who was beaten by Mu is hugging his face, painfully screaming, "This bastard, are you crazy?" He humbly questions, "Do you know who my cousin is?" "He's a boxer, idiot." "You're finished." Guok Chul chews gum, one hand in his pocket, asking, "You throw a fast punch, what sport do you play?" Mu replies, "Sports? I don't play anything. I just fight." Guok Chul spits out the gum and laughs loudly. "What's this? Middle school delusions?" He takes a fighting stance, saying, "Okay then." He looks down on Mu. "Let's see what you've got." Guok Chul punches Mu in the face, causing his nose to bleed, sending him flying. He punches, keeping the pose. Guok Chul looks at Mu, surprised. He wonders, what's wrong with this guy? Guok Chul remembers. He's been looking at his gang from beginning to end. But he then remembers Mu's excited, crazy face, and realizes he intentionally took the hit. Mu, at this time, leans back. He licks the blood on his face, silently affirming, "Never dodge the first blow." Then he asks Guok Chul, "Hand-to-hand combat is your specialty?" He freezes at Mew's words. He takes a fighting stance, questioning, "Is this the kind of thing you guys do?" Guokchul wonders, "Is this brat clumsily imitating me? How ridiculous." Mew suddenly punches his left arm. Guokchul is startled, quickly blocking. He backs away, keeping distance. He's surprised. "Damn it, what kind of punch was that?" Guokchul silently admires, the hitting force is so terrifying. Mew smiles, clenches his hand, changes his pose, and asks him, "Is this correct then?" He frowns. Mew remembers, "At the moment of impact, I tighten my arm muscles as much as possible." At that moment, he used the way his arm muscles strained to punch Guokchul. This time, Mew's arm trembles, the muscle bundles as if painfully screaming. He thinks, "My arm is throbbing, but it's okay." Mew smiles maniacally, exclaiming, "Because this feeling is amazing." He wonders, "I've never felt this much power from those weaklings, the ones who will collapse as soon as I touch them." Mew uses his hand to take off his belt. He wraps the belt around his hand, thinking, "Even so, if I want to keep fighting, I must keep this body safe. Temporarily use Hemonts then." The bully, at this time, stands up, angrily asking Guokchul, "What the heck, bro? You said we would fight fairly at first." Guokchul, hearing him say that, scolds, "Shut up and don't interfere." He lunges at Mew, asking, "Do you really think you can win like this?" Mew quickly uses his hands to block all his punches. Guokchul scorns, constantly punching him. "With that attitude, your defense is truly a joke." Mew, at this time, silently assesses. Fast and accurate, but too predictable. He continues to block his punches. Mew, as if seeing through every muscle bundle of his, thinks, just by looking at how his muscles move. He dodges a punch from Guokchul, silently affirming, "I can know exactly where he intends to aim." He suddenly shouts loudly, "Insect chop," and then he throws a hook punch. Mew gently stabs into his arm, stopping Guokchul's punch. He freezes. His arm is broken, falling to the ground following gravity. Guokchul reacts, lifting his arm, roaring loudly, "Damn it!" Mew calmly looks at him, painfully roaring. He remembers the bully's words, silently sneering, "He just called that person his cousin?" Their reactions are truly funny. Mew quickly uses his hand to punch the pressure point on Guokchul's neck. He faints, falling powerlessly to the ground. The bully, seeing this, panics. "What?" At this time, Mew suddenly looks at him, making him flinch. He smiles, saying, "Now then, let's end this." The bully, his body full of sweat, looks at him fearfully. The bully, in haste, backs away, shouting, "Don't come near me." Mew, seeing his terrified expression, thinks, "You don't have the will to fight? That won't do." He asks him, "You don't intend to fight? If I acknowledge defeat, this will be the end." The bully says, "Fine." He doesn't finish the sentence before being punched in the face by Mew. He smiles, watching him hug his face, screaming, "No." Mew continues to hit him, making the bully unable to resist, even breaking his teeth. A while later, the bully's face is swollen as if stung by bees, the pain so great that he can't speak clearly. Mew uses his hand to punch him in the face again. He uses his foot, stepping on him. Mew smiles excitedly, "You're so stubborn. You still won't admit defeat." Saying this, he turns around, walking away, gleefully licking the blood on his lips. The bully is still lying on the ground at this time. He tremblingly curses, "Mother, mother, this crazy bastard." Sometime later, Mew returns to Lee Ho's house. Mew thinks, fighting is fun. He raises his hand, silently assessing. But this body is too weak. Mew remembers, "I never thought that my muscles would be so easily injured like this." He clenches his fist, silently deciding, "I need this feeling to continue. It's a pity that the flow keeps getting interrupted." Then he closes his eyes, remembering, "This time I return, I must bring what I told Yang to." Mew shifts his consciousness back to the divine realm. He remains silent for a long time. Then he slowly opens his eyes. Looking around, it's still Lee Ho's room. He wonders, why isn't it working? Some days ago, the sacred realm, at Elmer's territory, God Lucifer. After Mew turns around, walking and waving at Elmer Lucifer, instructing, "I'm leaving, take good care of him." Elmer Lucifer, seeing Mew ride the dragon away, angrily clenches his fist. A while later, Yang asks Mew, "Was your trip to Earth good, sir?" He replies, "Ah, very satisfying, but my body is too weak." Then he orders, "Try to find the magic orb of restoration." Yang, hearing this, thinks, magic orbs are magic-containing objects used on Elmer, the planet under Lucifer's management, or other planets. He ponders, these are common items on planets with abundant mana, but on Earth, they can only be found through divine magic or by chance. Yang silently thinks, so, only a few people can use them in human history. and they are revered by humans as gods. Yang Yang says to Mu, I will prepare before you go next time. Are you planning to go right away? Mu jumps off Yang Yang's back and walks away. He sees this and wonders, Yang, what about the periodic meeting? Mu, while using his hand to search for something in his pocket, replies, I've already prepared. Because you complain too much. Yang Yang silently looks at him, giving him a crumpled piece of paper. Then Yang Yang complains to Mu, but he doesn't care, walking towards the miniature Earth. Afterwards, he teleports his soul to Earth, leaving Yang Yang behind, holding his head in frustration. He's speechless, tired, leaning his hand on the ground, not knowing that everything has been monitored by an object. A one-eyed bat, sent by Elmer Lucifer, has seen everything. In the present, in the meeting of the gods, Elmer Lucifer frowns, thinking, I don't know what that guy is plotting, but currently, his body is empty. He looks at Yang Yang, who is confused, pondering, if he doesn't even bother to show up at the periodic meeting, it means he has no intention of returning for a while. Elmer Lucifer silently smirks. In that case, he realizes, this is a once-in-a-thousand-year opportunity. Elmer Lucifer reaches out his hand, summoning a purple magic circle. He silently chants, Shell of Life. Immediately, a series of light streams appear. Yang Yang is alert, as if realizing something. The purple light gradually transforms into lances, constantly stabbing towards Yang Yang. He quickly dodges. After a series of light lances, he uses his claws to scratch the ground to stop himself. Yang Yang raises his head, asking, What are you doing? He continues, Is this a declaration of war? Against the god of earth? Elmer Lucifer slowly spreads his wings, flying up. He declares, I will expel the god of earth from the position of god. He says, it's definitely a declaration of war. Yang Yang doesn't reply. He opens his mouth, creating a powerball. Yang Yang chants, soul consciousness compression. He fires the powerball towards Elmer Lucifer. He stands still in place, not moving. When the powerball is in the right position, he gently waves his hand, pushing Yang Yang's technique to the side. The ball flies around the planet once, until it stops at a place and explodes. So, seeing this, just sighs, then says, Light shield. A faint light blue surrounds her. Gradually, light surrounds the table of the gods. The shockwave from the explosion races forward. A moment later, the shock stops. Elmer Lucifer and Yang Yang are both standing still in place. Yang Yang chants, Release divine wings. His whole body vibrates, his body transforming. A moment later, his body becomes hundreds of times larger. Yang Yang silently threatens Elmer Lucifer. He looks at him and then declares, You're next, and after you, is your master. Yang Yang looks at him and affirms, There is no next. So, hands on hips, sighs. She says dejectedly, This atmosphere is not suitable for this meeting. The battle between Elmer Lucifer and Yang Yang has come to an end. Yang Yang is being stabbed by his light lances. So turns around, flying away, announcing, I'm leaving. Elmer Lucifer turns his head, calling out, Wait. He asks, Which side are you on? Do you support the expulsion, or oppose it? So replies, It doesn't matter. Just consider me neutral. Elmer Lucifer laughs, announcing, Okay then. Just don't get in my way. If anyone else here opposes, step up now. He declares, I will handle it myself. Yang Yang difficultly questions him. Do you really think you can defeat Master? Elmer Lucifer smirks. He asks him, You mean that master of yours, the one who took over the body of a weak human? He's surprised. You know? He says, Complacency in power and neglecting vigilance only leads to this outcome. Yang Yang is annoyed. TCH, you. He wags his tail, then uses it to attack Elmer Lucifer. He roars, I won't let you escape. He looks at the tail coiling around him and calmly smiles. Then, in just one strike, he breaks free from Yang Yang's tail. He looks at his severed tail falling to the ground, and orders, Stay there. As long as you're still alive, then I can still get to Earth. Elmer Lucifer laughs maniacally, declaring, And when I get there, I will completely destroy your weak master. Saying this, he keeps laughing loudly. Yang Yang tightly closes his eyes. He painfully trembles, silently praying in his heart. At this time, on Earth, Guak Chul is being scolded by the manager, You idiot. The competition is coming up soon. Did you lose your mind? I said it before, people who are training shouldn't go around starting fights. He roars, So you're demanding to quit now? Is that it? Seriously? Don't come back here until your hand heals. Get out of my sight now. Guak Chul bows his head, embarrassed. I'm sorry. He turns around, walking away, scratching his head, angrily muttering, If it wasn't for that guy. He reaches the door and meets eyes with Kang Chul. He silently glances at him. Kang Chul asks, What's wrong with your hand? Guak Chul hesitates. Huh? Ah, this. He worriedly thinks to himself, Kang Chul, He's the best puncher in our gym. He looks at him with suspicious eyes, and he smiles obsequiously, secretly wondering, will it work? Then Guak Chol bows, falsely saying, about this, really, kids these days are scary. He pretends to cry, recounting, I heard my younger brother was being bullied, so I tried to intervene and reason with him. Guak Chul grinds his teeth, continuing, but that person used force to attack me, beating me up. He uses his uninjured hand to wipe away tears, and put my hand and ear in this condition. Those bastards, damn it. The competition is next month. Kang Chul quickly walks past him, then says, you should have been more careful before the competition. He continues, instead of fighting, you could have done another sparring session. Guak Chul is secretly surprised. What? It didn't work? Suddenly Kang Chul speaks, making him jump. Oh, by the way. He turns around, smiling, asking, what? He worriedly thinks, did he find out? Crocodile tears. Kang Chul turns his head, angrily asking, who was that guy? At Li Ho's room, Mu is looking at the ceiling, wondering, why isn't it working anymore? He thinks, that's strange, there's only one case where I wouldn't be able to return. He remembers, when the original body is damaged. Mu ponders, my body should be being protected by Yang Yang, and even if it wasn't Yang Yang, there aren't many things that can harm my body. Suddenly, he realizes, no way, could it be that all the gods joined forces to attack me? Mu stands up, then says, if that's the case, I can't waste time here. He angrily clenches his fist. Those bastards. He punches the bed, then shouts, no, this can't be happening. Mu grinds his teeth, angrily muttering, it's been a long time, since the last time they dared to covet something of mine. I must fight them. He keeps hitting the bed, roaring, please, let it be a fight when I'm there. A moment later, he stops. Mu, arms crossed, thinks, calm down. Even if they all attack at once. He ponders, Yang Yang isn't someone who can be easily defeated. Even so, I can't just sit still and do nothing. So I will do what I can right now. The next day, Mu is still diligently training at the park. He's hanging, doing sit-ups, thinking, from now on, I will focus on strengthening muscles other than my arms. Mu silently feels, using muscles that I usually don't use, I can feel them screaming in pain. He thinks with pleasure, this feeling is great. Mu suddenly laughs loudly. The people around him look at him, talking. What's wrong with this guy? He's so weird. Where did he crawl out from? Kim Yujin, seeing everyone in an uproar, tilts her head to look. She calls out loudly, making Mu, who is excited, jump. Hey! Mu falls to the ground. Kim Yujin walks towards him. She grabs the strap of her bag, angrily asking, why aren't you coming to school? A moment later, the two are sitting on a bench at the park. Mu wonders, do I really have to go? It's not a place to train my body, right? Kim Yujin sighs, asking, so what do you want to do? He replies, I want to become stronger. That's why I'm training. She tilts her head, wondering, why do you want to be stronger? Mu replies, so that I can fight better. Right now, I'm too weak to fight. Then he rambles, my body hasn't been trained at all, so I need to build it. My arms are already broken, even though I only fought a few times. With strength training at the gym, I can increase my endurance. If I'm stronger, I'll be able to fight more. Fight 2 times instead of 1. Fight 3 times instead of 2. My body will also move better. Kim Yunjin silently laments, he's crazy. He's been rambling about fighting for a whole hour. How can I drag this guy to school? She suddenly has an idea. That's it. She asks Mu, what's the point of training if there's no one to fight? Kim Yunjin continues, you're just training alone here. There's no one who will challenge you. You need to meet people, create some conflicts, then you'll have opponents to fight, idiot. She grabs her bag, then stands up. Starting tomorrow, just come to school. Don't make this my problem anymore. Mu looks at Kim Yunjin's back, thinking, she's right. He mutters, those guys probably won't show up again, so I need to find strong opponents myself. Searching for someone to fight while waiting for my body to recover doesn't sound bad. Mu stands up, then wonders, should I try going to that place called school starting tomorrow? Suddenly someone calls him. Second year? Li Ho? Kang Chul, wearing a mask and specialized glasses, with a truncheon on his back, asks Mu, right? He sighs, seriously. Then he turns around, preparing to receive Kang Chul's punch, thinking to himself, Earth is the best place. Kang Chul, 15 years old, the time when he started to stand out in boxing. Kang Chul's younger sister, a young ballerina on the rise. He was extremely proud of his sister. But the happy days didn't last long when his sister was stalked by a stalker. The stalker's obsession became increasingly serious. And eventually, crossed the line. That person attacked Kang Chul's sister. But a fist stopped him. The one who stopped it was Kang Chul. He almost stopped the crime. But because he stopped too soon, The criminal didn't receive proper punishment. The obsession of the one who failed once only became stronger and more dangerous. This time, he also stopped the crime. But not as quickly as last time. The swan's wings were broken. After that, he no longer trusted the law. Merciless fists were swung by Kang Chul. He decided to do the things that the law couldn't do. Secretly, he started the activities of a vigilante every night. He carried weapons and wore a mask to block the paths of bad guys. He made those who showed signs of becoming criminals pay in advance. For him, fighting was judgment. Back to reality, Kang Chul punched Mu straight in the face. The punch made him stagger backwards. However, he had a different view of this powerful punch. His punches are very light. Is he testing me? With amusement, he sniffs the blood from his nose, then thinks, even so, the truth is, he attacked. He seems very eager for this fight. I thought it would be difficult to find a fight for a while, but it seems I'm lucky. At this time, Kang Chul questions, why are you going around hitting people? Do you want to become a thug or something? Ignoring his seriousness, Mu puts on a challenging face, teasing, too quiet, I can't hear. His joking face makes him angry to the first degree. Then he lunges at him, saying, then come closer. A series of powerful punches are thrown at Mu, but he easily dodges. Every time Kang Chul hooks at his chin, he laughs dismissively, dodging the punch. Seeing him so quick, Kang Chul also praises him. You dodge pretty well. Then he starts to think of ways to deal with him. Limit his right field of vision. Thinking is doing, he delivers a punch to his right eye. But then suddenly something happens. It turns out that Mu has quickly blocked that punch, making him admire him somewhat. Blocking pretty well too. Not stopping here, Kang Chul continues to prepare another punch. Continue blocking. Finishing the sentence, he throws another punch. Still like just now, Mu raises his hand to block it. Not stopping for a single moment, he punches him in the face repeatedly. It seems that those punches made him struggle to back away, then angrily think, this bastard. The reason is that those punches make him feel excruciating pain, all attacking the injured positions. Just then, Kang Chul hooks a punch behind Mu's back, and gives him a punch right in the side. This punch is a bit painful, making him cough up water. He quickly backs away a good distance to keep himself safe. Kang Chul now speaks up, saying, perhaps your arm can't feel anything anymore, right? Then he says with a serious voice, no matter how injured you are, the judge will never forgive. Suddenly Mu laughs hysterically, trembling. His attitude makes him speechless, and so his anger increases to another degree, causing him to grit his teeth, questioning, are you laughing? Mu doesn't reply to him, only smiling with amusement, thinking, this guy can't be defeated, at least not now. Although he's interested in his punches, that doesn't mean, the bloodlust in him flares up. I can't waste the opportunity to fight. His eyes are full of murderous intent. I can't win just by enjoying it. I must be careful, and calm, don't laugh. Mu remembers when he was a god. I can't always win, even when there's nothing. Those losses never made him sad, but on the contrary, even so, it's still very interesting. However, with the competitive nature and desire to win in his blood, but, I want to win. So he comes up with a way. So, I decided to calm my emotions. The first step he takes is, and calmly assess the enemy. Instantly, Mu quickly pulls a curtain. That monster punches straight into that curtain. But he has already dodged to the side, and thinking and struggling with his head. The punches he throws each time are stronger, and there is nothing stronger than each day. That monster is also not to be outdone, preparing to punch him back. A punch hits straight into his face. There's nothing to control my emotions to the maximum to become stronger. Although that punch is excruciatingly painful, even so, he's still addicted to being hit and fighting. I still can't stop the feeling of joy from gradually showing. In his heart, Mu always believes, therefore, when I want to win, I must control my emotions even more. And the way he does that is, I must force myself to look like I'm annoyed. His fake serious face makes Kang Chul bewildered. At the same time, it also makes him extremely angry. So angry that he trembles, blurting out, this crazy bastard. He goes crazy, preparing to punch him, then shouts loudly, you're still joking? The fight is heating up when suddenly, the middleweight boxing champion suddenly freezes. He looks quite uncomfortable and shouts loudly, you're still joking? But at this time, Lee Ho himself seems quite disoriented, his face drooping limply, his eyes vacant, leaning back. It seems like a disadvantage, but no. He advances one step at a time and punches, but everything is dodged as he recedes backwards. Lasting only a few more minutes, Lee Ho then carelessly hits his back against a tree with a thud. Despite the tense situation, he doesn't worry at all and tiptoes, his eyes full of suspicion. It seems like he's going to jump up. But no, Lee Ho puts all his strength into kicking a big clod of dirt. It immediately flies powerfully towards Kang Chul, but he easily blocks it with his hand, causing dust to fly everywhere. After being trapped, the young man quickly kneels down, his sharp eyes assessing, throwing sand in someone's eyes, an action that only thugs do, so it's completely predictable. And for a moment, thinking he had the upper hand, he prepared to counterattack, but Lee Ho leans against the tree. Still with that expression, it's soft, pouting absent-mindedly, in Kang Chul's puzzled shout, "What are you waiting for? Continue." One word is like 10, no matter how many sentences he utters, the result is the same. Seeing this makes him furious, his limit of endurance exploding. Kang Chul is extremely angry, his whole body redder than a tomato. Unable to restrain himself, he quickly flicks his hand, physically acting, a super quick strike. Lee Ho's face looks silly, but he's still pretty alert, seeing a change, so he quickly tilts his head to the side, dodging the move. But not stopping there, Kang Chul quickly slips behind, in the moment his body has no support, falling freely down. An arm strikes straight across Lee Ho's shoulder and neck. It's really close, smoke also appears under his eyes. He's quite stunned, accompanied by a shudder, smiling wide-eyed, knowing in his head that this guy is also aiming for the chin, potentially effective, because hand-to-hand combat has existed in the previous world. If there is a difference with the two people I've fought before, everyone was fiercely bloodthirsty. The opposite is that their fighting style is more defensive. The reason for that is the ground. The ground contains countless variables, making it difficult to fight with powerful movements. Perhaps the evolution of the flat ground and shoes has allowed these warriors to become more aggressive. With that aggressive tendency, I just saw the shape of his shoe, but now it has disappeared in a flash. And knowing exactly where he is aiming, guiding his movement becomes easy. Lee Ho seems to have grasped the situation, kicking up with both legs. Kang Chul throws a punch, he quickly slips, tilting his body to dodge, not just one blow, but a dozen coming like a storm, back and forth, quickly. Finally, if I make him move more, the possibility of the variables that I set up before happening will increase. A turn, when that short gap appears. Lee Ho then jumps up, pursing his lips tightly, his face revealing cunningness, raising his hand, deciding, hits straight at his weakness. And just when everything was going to go smoothly, another incident occurs. Suddenly, he had to glance at his arm. A strange feeling, psychologically shocking, is clearly visible, and due to momentum, it just pushes a strong force straight to Kang Chul's face. Then it trembles again. Lee Ho doesn't feel, gritting his teeth cautiously in his head, "My hand can't react anymore. I tried to use my elbow in an emergency situation." After that fatal blow, the safety glasses had to crack, the affected part leaking blood in his angry eyes. But even if his hand has lost sensation, Lee Ho's laughing nerve is still there. He bursts out laughing, then provokes, "Ha ha ha ha, you missed." But hey, Kang Chul is still very alert. He takes the wooden iron stick from behind the tree, straight to the head, with a thud to his knee. That blow made Lee Ho hurt so much that he supported himself on one leg. Truly worthy of the boxing champion, his temper is hot as ice cream, harshly emphasizing, "Are you having fun? Maybe you will continue to do the same and laugh like that in the future too." And preparing to raise the stick high, preparing to deal the final blow, emphasizing, "So I will make sure that you can't laugh anymore." Then slamming it down in Lee Ho's helplessness, unable to do anything, "I lost." Knowing that, he also doesn't resist, closing his eyes, ready to receive. How long has it been since the last time I tasted what the feeling of defeat is? It's been almost 4,000 years. Those words are seen as his own farewell words. The moment he thought it would be over, something strange suddenly shoots straight to Kang Chul's face, and immediately makes him dizzy a little, losing balance, backing away. The glasses were already ruined, now they are worse. The surprise gift rushing in makes him also shocked. What the heck? Is there anyone else here? Then, without hiding for long, from behind the tree, a worried shout rings out, "Master!" Hearing the strange sound, Kang Chul is quite afraid. He brings his hands to the jacket tied under his waist, not forgetting to curse miserably, "Damn it." In just a flash, the jacket was swung into the sky, powerfully and quickly. Unable to allow his identity to be exposed, Kang Chul covers himself up, then turns his head and quickly runs away, temporarily abandoning Lee Ho. At this time, at the empty land, with only him kneeling forlornly, a familiar blue foot has appeared, accompanied by a slightly trembling worried shout, "Master," making Lee Ho turn his face back. Then quickly opening his eyes wide, quite surprised, he only blurts out, You are young, but with a much cuter version." Moving to another side, at Lucifer's castle, with a giant purple orb encompassing, imprisoning Mu. He at this time clearly reveals a smug face, his eyes full of conspiracy, satisfied, saying, he won't be able to return to his original body even once more. This is a completely sealed space, even his soul cannot enter. But there's something missing. Lucifer turns around, saying, "Now what I need to do is open Earth's barrier." Accompanied by one side is the original Yang, who is being tied up. He takes advantage of that opportunity to offer sweet words, negotiating, "Once I'm done dealing with him, I will give you the position of Earth's god, so why not cooperate?" But before those sweet words, he doesn't bother listening. On the contrary, he huffs unhappily. That makes Lucifer think something happened, so he angrily demands, "What are you saying? Speak up, I can't hear anything with your huge body." Hearing that, Yang only gives a tense, questioning look. That space, being sealed off, means that no attack can penetrate? So he has nothing to hesitate, closing his eyes, crossing his arms firmly. "That's right, anything you do is useless. There's nothing you can do, so just do as you're told and receive the position that is being given." Seeing that he seems to be silent, Lucifer is quite satisfied, emphasizing, "Good, knowing that the attacks have no effect is good." But then he has a feeling that something is wrong. He glances, and from behind, suddenly a light flashes. So it turns out that at this very moment, Yang uses the heaven and earth trembling technique, pouring all the dazzling gold energy from his entire body. Seeing that scene makes Lucifer shocked, eyes bulging, yelling, "This crazy dragon!" At that moment, on the top of the castle, is a streak of light extending down, and it gets bigger and bigger, whitening the entire area. Accompanied by that is a supergiant meteor falling to the ground. A loud crash makes dust fly everywhere, and he then transforms, getting smaller, quickly rushing away. 3 legs, 4 legs, nervously, just keeps running. And in his head he's calculating, "I've used all my power and am in terrible condition, Yang. The goal now is to go straight to Earth." Accompanied by his determination, "I must inform Master of the current situation." But with a crash, from within the fading smoke, he immediately spreads his wings, flying high, cursing, "You damn lizard," and rushing straight ahead, annoyed, summoning the trident, yelling, "I will grind you and your master into ashes." So not long-winded, Lucifer immediately fires it forward with a very strong force, and it closely follows Yang, who is running. The outcome, after that everyone understands, he is hit, it powerfully pushes through, breaking the stone chair and into the portal. On Earth, Yang is blown away, with a loss of consciousness, falling gradually, slowly, and accidentally gets close to Kang Chul's place. Finally, he hits him hard on the head like just now. All of that was recounted by him. "That is what happened, Yang. I'm really sorry, Yang." And at this time, Li Ho's face darkens completely, not saying anything else, making Yang a little scared, asking, "Master?" And then the anger has reached the extreme. His eyes turn blank white, revealing irrepressible anger, strongly scolding, "Lucifer, that bastard." Suddenly Li Ho's face contorts and his face darkens, his pupils also become smaller. Then he suddenly smiles in a perverted way as if something very fun is happening. Li Ho sits on the bed, muttering, pretending like he doesn't want to fight anymore, but he's ready to fight at any time, this bastard. Next to him is Yang, sitting helplessly looking at him. Then he stands up, punching a few times forward. "This isn't good. I need to get stronger as soon as possible so that I can fight with this body." He sits down in fear, not saying anything. Suddenly Li Ho's hand cries out, making him panic. His trembling hand retracts. With the current state, he probably won't be able to use it for a while. He immediately turns to look at Yang and asks, "You brought it, right?" Seeing this, he stammers, Yang, the magic stone." He smiles, smirking, then replies, "Of course I brought it, Yang." After saying that, Yang immediately raises his head to the sky, something round coming out of his stomach. It seems doing this is very painful, so his eyes are full of tears, a red gem coming out of his mouth. After spitting it out, Yang explains, "This is a dragon bloodstone with a one-time healing spell. If I knew this would happen, I would have brought more. It's a stone made from condensed dragon blood." Li Ho gently holds the gem. Then he holds the gem full of Yang's up, saying, "This much should be enough." Suddenly the gem gradually wears down. Li Ho's hand also emits a stream of blue gas. Then his whole body is also surrounded by that stream of energy. The wound on Li Ho's hand also becomes completely healed. He looks down at his arm and realizes something. The clenching hands show clear veins. This isn't just a simple healing spell, right? Li Ho spreads his hands wide, full of veins. "My muscles have become more sensitive. Is this a type of body enhancement spell?" At this time Yang says, self-satisfied, "Hee, actually I also transmitted my magic into the dragon bloodstone. I put in some effort too." He looks at the gem in his hand and smiles. "There's still a little energy left. It seems like it doesn't consume much mana because this is a human body. It looks like we can use it one more time." He throws the gem into Yang's hand. "You use it." But it seems that he wants to save it for Li Ho. He puts it back into his stomach. "No, I will save it to use later. After saying that, he immediately swallows it into his stomach without hesitation. Turning back to Kim Eugene's room, she's letting the lizard climb onto her hand. Her face is blushing, looking at Dooley, saying, hee hee, Dooley is still as adorable as always today. If you could talk, we would chat and play together every day. After saying that, she puts it back into its cage. Be good and stay still. Then Eugene says goodbye to Dooley and wears her bag. I'll see you after school. At this time, in the class, there's one person bandaged all over his face and is sitting writing an essay. He's bruised all over his face and bandaged in many places on his face. He's sitting and thinking, yeah, being a bully was never suitable for me. Instead of causing random trouble, it's better if I study hard. While in the midst of his thoughts, Lee Ho opens the classroom door, making him jump. Lee Ho immediately pays attention to him. He smiles a challenge. Hey, wanna fight a round? Eugene has also come to class. You came today, huh? He turns his body around. Ah, it's you. I was convinced by what you said. Something suddenly rises behind Lee Ho's back. Lee Ho smiles in a barbaric and perverted way. Looking at it, she immediately understands. Looking for someone to fight? Seeing him like that, she can only helplessly think to herself, does he have any strange plots? Eugene knows that something is about to happen, so she says, yeah, good luck. In the evening, the students gossip. Hey, have you heard anything? Kang Chul asks, wondering, heard what? A red-haired girl asks, you don't know about the second-year neutralizer? The two of them are walking and talking. There's a second-year kid who used to be bullied. He only listens, not replying to any words. After a moment, Chul asks, so you're saying he did that to his bully? She laughs loudly. Yeah, I heard he even tore off one of his ears, so everyone started calling him the neutralizer. How crazy. After hearing that, he immediately thinks of Lee Ho and Guak Chul. One of his ears, the person they're talking about, seems to be him. But then he gets angry when he thinks of the scene of Guak Chul crying, that brat, could he be lying? Thinking of this, Kang Chul shakes his head. I almost mistook an innocent person. Well, I only punched him a little. He doesn't notice Lee Ho and Young Young who are walking behind. He's walking and lamenting. There were no benefits today at all. Remembering the scene of himself sitting in the classroom, he says again, everyone is just busy drawing with their fingers. No one wants to fight at all. Oh well, I'll go to the sandbag wall and practice. Just as he finishes speaking, Lee Ho suddenly notices someone. He sees Kang Chul walking in front of him. Immediately his face darkens. That arm. Lee Ho sees through the outer layer of skin. The size and position of the muscles are exactly the same. Then he angrily points at Kang Chul, shouting loudly, that guy from yesterday. That makes him jump. That sentence makes him pay attention and turn around. What? Just as he turns around, he sees Lee Ho smiling brightly, rushing towards him. Then Kang Chul also quickly runs straight ahead. What the heck is he doing? This action makes the girl bewildered. He is just grinding his teeth and thinking, that guy from yesterday, is he chasing me because he knows it's me? Thinking about himself yesterday, Kang Chul is wearing a mask, completely covering his face. How did he know? I was wrapped up so tightly. Lee Ho, with a perverted face, is still chasing him. Damn it, why is he chasing me forever? Is he planning to call the police? First, I have to cut him off. Thinking is doing, Kang Chul runs to a small alley, then rushes straight inside. Lee Ho also just runs, chasing after him. But when he looks inside, there's no one. He then wonders, where did he go? He sullenly curses, what the heck is this? A perfect situation to fight. But, Young Young, at this time, also comes out from inside his jacket. He's also angry on behalf of Lee Ho. Are you looking for that guy from yesterday? The insolent one who dared to challenge our master. Yesterday when we bumped into each other, I smelled a very strong masculine scent. As soon as he finishes speaking, Young Young jumps down to the ground, then says, if we go in that direction. He just walks and sniffs the ground. Afterwards, Young Young's nose touches someone's shoe. Young Young raises his head. What is this? It turns out to be Eugene who is looking at him. She just keeps staring at him. Then suddenly her face turns completely red. It turns out to be Eugene who is looking at him. Then her face suddenly turns red. Young Young, not knowing what's going on, yells, what's this, girl? Could you please move aside? But it seems that those words have no effect. Eugene then reaches her hand towards him, and immediately lifts him up, making Young Young scared. He angrily yells, what are you doing? Do you know who I am? After saying that, Young Young thinks, damn it, if only I could use magic. On Eugene's side, she's holding him up, her eyes wide, thinking to herself, a talking lizard, do creatures like that really exist? Eugene's eyes light up, it's so cute, just as cute as Dooley. No, maybe even cuter than Dooley. While she's thinking, Young Young has jumped out of her hand and runs straight to Lee Ho. He hides behind his leg, panting. I'm sorry, if only I hadn't lost my powers. Yujin, seeing that, then approaches him with a serious face. She looks down at him and asks, "Is that creature your friend?" Lee Ho looks at him and replies, "This thing, you could call it a friend too, a obedient lizard." Hearing this, her face turns even redder and she's in a state of jealousy. Lee Ho looks at Yujin with an emotionless face, the two of them say nothing. Suddenly Lee Ho's leg starts to move, making Yang not understand what's going on. He lifts his leg up and holds it out, asking, "Do you want to borrow it?" Making him extremely scared. He looks up at him with a surprised face. Yujin is also bewildered by that question. A moment later Yang is present at her room. He looks seriously, but in this small body, he's still very adorable. She thinks to herself, "Is he angry at me?" Lee Ho lifts him up with 2 fingers. Yang's face now really needs rescue. He's holding him up while making a deal. "I'm looking for someone. If you help me, I'll let you borrow him." Seeing that offer, she nods her head repeatedly. "Definitely. The deal is done." Lee Ho throws Yang towards her without hesitation. He clings onto Yujin's head, making her very surprised. After finishing his business, he turns and leaves. "Play with him however you want. I'll meet you later alone." Yang wonders, "Where are you going, master?" He smiles, smirking, and clenches his fist. "I'm going to Sasujang." Returning to Yujin's room, he's introducing himself. "Ahem. I am Yang, secretary and assistant to the master. As the master has instructed, you will cooperate with me from now on." He puts his hand forward. Seeing a talking and cute lizard like that, she keeps blushing. That action of his makes her heart break. Right after that, she puts 2 fingers out to shake hands with him, and incidentally asks, "Master, do you mean Lee Ho?" She happily introduces, "Okay, I will help you. I may look like this, but actually I'm the class." Before she can finish speaking, she's interrupted by him. "Class president." She starts explaining in more detail. "That's right, it means that I'm the manager of the class. I'm also the person with the top grade in the grade." Yang also replies, "I understand. It seems that it's not for no reason that master chose you." Saying this, he discovers something. "Wait a minute, does that mean that my master isn't the leader?" She ponders then says, "Lee Ho? He doesn't have a very high ranking, it seems." Hearing that, Yang immediately asks, "What?" Then he yells, "That's impossible," making Yujin and Dooley both jump. He tries to tell Lee Ho, "Master is the strongest being that exists. I can't believe this." Yang continues, "If you're the leader of the class, then master must be the master of Earth." Saying this, he puts both hands on his stomach, then seriously thinks about Lee Ho. Afterwards, he yells again, "Understood? From now on, you must do everything to ensure that master will be the strongest person." Taking this opportunity, Yujin then makes a condition, "Okay, but on the condition that you have to come over to my house to play with me often." He smiles evilly, thinking to himself, "Hee, everything is going according to plan. I'm also planning to take advantage of this girl to get more information about Earth." Thinking that, Yang immediately agrees, "Sounds good. For the master, that's nothing." At this time, he seems to be very proud of himself. "Don't worry, master, Yang here will help you regain your position." Meanwhile, Lee Ho is training on the horizontal bar. He uses one hand and inverts himself, going all the way, then jumps down. Lee Ho, full of sweat, looks at his hand and says, "I feel better." He clenches his hand. "Thanks to the physical enhancement effect, and the muscle fibers that broke down earlier have healed, I've become stronger." Afterwards, he puts his fist behind. "Guess I should challenge myself a little more." Without hesitation, he punches straight into the iron bar of the horizontal bar. After finishing, Lee Ho blows a breath into that fist. He looks at his uninjured arm and smiles. "That's delicious." Suddenly he glances to the side. Then he looks behind again. Remembering that yesterday there was someone standing behind him. He didn't come today? The space in the evening is really peaceful. But he clearly came to that place called school this morning. I'll probably bump into him soon. Lee Ho leaves, leaving a trace on the iron bar of the horizontal bar. It's been punched until it's no longer in its original shape. He walks alone on that road. Suddenly he feels a sweet scent wafting over. That scent wafts to Yujin's room. She's talking to Yang. This, and this too. Add everything to the cart. She and he are shopping together. "First I will check about the clothing, as I said. It seems they sell pairs too." That scent wafts past Yang's nose. Just smelling it, he already knows. This is the scent of the body that master is using. After thinking that, he runs through the door, then says, "Thank you very much. I will visit often. That's all for today." After saying that, he sniffs Lee Ho's scent and starts searching. With that small body, Yang jumps on the roofs, then finds him. He jumps onto Lee Ho's shoulder, calling, "Master." Oh. He and Yang are walking and talking. "The task that you assigned to me is progressing very well. but it seems they haven't discovered that there's a fight in the alley next door. Yang Yang continues. Based on her obedience, she will soon listen to your orders. And they quickly pass through it. At this time, his nose sniffs something. He turns his body around. Master, that smell. They stop in front of the alley that's having a fight. The one being beaten sits on the ground, asking, You're that guy, beating people to death just for stealing a bicycle? How dare you hit me? Someone, covered from head to toe, says while kicking him, You know you're being hunted, right? You can't escape. A voice appears from somewhere. You trash talk too much. Then Li Ho and Yang Yang gradually approach him. Found you. Seeing that there was a person appearing behind, Kang Chul immediately panics, turning around quickly. Behind him is Li Ho with the talking lizard on his shoulder. Here. Yang Yang points his finger at the store behind him, then says, The strong scent is coming from there. But Li Ho, at this time, doesn't pay attention to his words. The eyes of Li and Kang Chul are glued to each other. His foot lifts up, gradually approaching the opponent. Seeing that, Kang Chul fearfully waves his hand. Hey, wait, it's just a misunderstanding. Not waiting for him to explain, Li Ho bursts out, rushing like crazy. I just wasn't intentional. Seeing that the other person has no intention of stopping, Kang Chul helplessly raises his fist. Things like this. His hands clench, his feet firmly planted, ready to receive the blow from the opponent. Li Ho flies over, a contorted smile spreading on his face. Both of their eyes widen, glaring at each other. But just as they're about to collide, Li Ho suddenly stops. Li Ho doesn't throw a head-on attack. And Kang Chul also has no intention of fighting. Before he can figure out what's happening, the stick behind his back is suddenly snatched away. What's going on like this? He says resentfully, holding that weapon, grinding his teeth, staring at the front. His hand swings up strongly, his mouth yelling, Die. Kang Chul quickly rotates his two ankles. His whole body leans to one side, dodging the blow just now. But the stick, due to inertia, doesn't stop, continuing to rush towards the person opposite. A flash of horror appears in Kang Chul's eyes. If I dodge this blow. He glances at Li Ho, who is still standing blankly in one place. Just as expected, the stick slams straight into his head. He unexpectedly shows his teeth, grinning. What? Oh well, hit it? Li Ho pushes Kang Chul to the side, then flies over, kicking him in the stomach. The stick in his hand falls out, spinning a few times in the air. Li Ho stretches out, decisively grabbing it. The guy, painfully hugging his sore stomach, then discovers that the stick is right in his sight. It hooks into his neck, pulling his whole body forward strongly. Li Ho smiles barbarically, bowing his head, slamming his forehead hard into the other guy. He, being attacked unexpectedly, takes a step back in fear, his hand raising up, hugging his forehead, screaming. Right after that are a series of punches into his flabby stomach. Li Ho punches so hard that an imprint of his hand appears on it. The stick in his hand swings up, a final blow hitting hard on his lower body. The guy hugs his whole sore body, lying down, his body trembling all over. Li Ho smiles with pleasure, looking at him for a while. But right after that, his face turns cold, exhaling with a sigh. How boring. He remembers the crazy, punching time before, when he first set foot on Earth. How happy he was after being stimulated for a long time. However, fighting one-sidedly like this is no different from before. Kang Chul, taking advantage of Li Ho being in battle, runs away with 3 legs and 4 legs. He freezes, listening to the sound of footsteps running away behind him. He quickly turns his head around. Just as expected, in this alley, there's only him and the thief who is lying on the ground. Where did that guy run off to? Just a few seconds before, Kang Chul had planned to run away. Before leaving, he glanced at Li Ho. How did this guy find me? He frowns, looking deeply into the opponent's eyes. He only sees Li Ho, who is very happy, constantly beating up that thief. Kang Chul is running, looking back, not noticing Yang Yang, who is standing sniffing on the ground. The smell is so good. Now that I mention it, since setting foot on Earth, I haven't been able to eat a proper meal. Right after that, a traffic accident occurs. Yang Yang is hit, flying crookedly to one side. He carelessly hits someone, then runs away, disappearing, ignoring the victim who is lying there, gaping. The metal door opens, then is immediately slammed shut. Kang Chul tiredly enters the house, kicking away the shoes he's wearing. In his head, he's still haunted by the grinning face of Li Ho. Why is that guy so happy? Does he like fighting so much? Before he can finish thinking, the door behind him suddenly bursts open. The prosecutor. There's a problem. Kang Yun, after an incident, the stalker changed her profession to prosecutor and vowed to completely eliminate all criminals, says loudly, hands on hips. Today, there's another criminal who has been arrested. She walks over, bumping into Kang Chul's shoulder. How dare you block the path of a prosecutor like me? Move aside. He says helplessly, don't you feel pain when bumping into me, prosecutor? She doesn't care. You really are a match made in heaven with him. Ignoring the other person's sullenness, Yuna walks straight into the room, ordering, give me a bowl of noodles, no egg. Kang Chul watches her fading figure, thinking to himself, it seems like that made her unhappy. He remembers the battle after that night. Every time he threw a punch, he only felt anger. Kang Chul clenches his fist, looking at his reflection in the pot of water. When I first started learning this martial art, I didn't feel like this. He sighs, continuing to cook noodles. At first, it was really different. Early in the morning the next day, the students again wear happy faces, going to school. Yang Yang is lying prone on Li Ho's shoulder, lamenting, I'm so sorry, I was too hungry yesterday. Seeing this green thing, people can't help but wonder, what the heck is this? A Komodo dragon? Li Du's eyes suddenly open wide, as if discovering something. He approaches Kim Yujin, starting a conversation. Hello. She, seeing Yang Yang, then acts as if she's found gold, waving her hands, cheering, hello, Long Long. Li Ho suddenly asks, have you heard Long Long talk? Do you understand what he's saying? She remembers his words last night when giving Yang Yang, I need to find someone, you help me, I'll let you borrow this. Huh? That person? I think I know him. She says to the other person, if the person you're talking about is the one who covers his face and beats people, then that's Ikijimai. Ikijimai? What the heck is that? Yujin is a little surprised. Oh, you don't know? He's a famous figure, a Robin Hood type. He steals from the rich to help the poor. That's his nickname. He's famous for treating those who cause trouble. A few rays of worry suddenly appear on her face. Wait, then why are the two of you fighting? Don't tell me you did something bad? What else is there? I don't know anything. Li Ho is busy pondering, not knowing that the person he's looking for is right behind him. That guy runs all the time, but the next time I see him, there won't be a chance to escape. Kang Chul, who has appeared behind Li Ho since when, uses a somber tone, whispering into the other person's ear, wait for me after school, I'll come find you. He says then leaves, abandoning the other person, his whole body trembling like a plucked chicken. Yujin asks, a bit surprised, what's that about? Are you two acquainted? The familiar, contorted smile once again appears on Li Ho's face, Ilium. He maintains that smile throughout the entire class. His legs are shaking violently under the desk. As long as I get to fight, I can wait as long as it takes, but it's a little hard to restrain myself. Poor Yang Yang is hiding inside Li Ho's calf as if experiencing a major earthquake. At the end of the afternoon, the school's announcement finally rings out, the students in the evening session, please eat first then go to the third floor to study. Today, we'll end our session here. After school, Li Ho, carrying the dizzy Yang Yang, gives him to Yujin. I have some things to take care of, so please take him with you. Yujin's cheeks are red, tightly hugging Yang Yang in her arms, skipping happily. She quickly goes out the door of the classroom. As soon as her figure fades away, the door gradually closes. A hand suddenly grabs the door, pulling it back. Seeing Kang Chul appear, Li Ho smirks with pleasure. I've been waiting for you. He steps inside, decisively closing the door behind his back. Yes, very good. You've been waiting silently here. That's good. Kang Chul takes gloves out of his backpack, gradually putting them on. This action makes Li Ho realize he likes to use gloves when fighting. Kang Chul raises an eyebrow. You like to fight? The opponent shakes his head. Like, you're mistaken. It's not that I like to fight. In his mind, he immediately imagines his previous fights. A twisted smile quickly appears on his face. The pain and impact of hitting and being hit, the cries of the muscles when they're moved. He recounts with an excited voice, from the past to the present, only fighting makes me feel like I'm alive. Li Ho smiles widely, his sharp eyes staring straight at the other person, so I have no choice but to fight. Kang Chul, seeing the other person's perversion, is a bit disgusted. Your expression doesn't match what you're saying very well. He reaches into his backpack, rummaging around for a while. Then he throws another pair of gloves to Li Ho. It flies over, hitting Li in the face hard, making him softly cry out in pain. He raises his hands, catching them. Kang Chul throws the backpack down, decisively saying, put him on. As soon as he finishes speaking, he sees Li Ho rushing madly towards him. I can't seriously fight someone who doesn't even know how to resist. He dodges to one side, using one hand to block the other person's attack. He grinds his teeth, looking at his glove, which is charred due to strong friction. This bastard, how impatient. He tries to reassure himself, no, I don't need to be angry. I came here from the beginning to fight. Why am I like this? Am I an easily emotional person? He decisively steps backwards, stretching the distance with Li Ho. Kang Chul opens his mouth, breathing evenly, regaining his composure. Just think of this as a simple match. He shakes his hand strongly. Don't let the body get tense. Relax. Li Ho continues to rush madly. Kang Chul turns his body to the left, using his right elbow to hit his face. Following that, his left elbow hits the other side of his face. Kang Chul looks at his hand, which is burning hot, silently feeling. This feeling, I like it too much. He pulls his body back, taking momentum, wraps his arm around, punching hard into Li Ho's face. Relax now, use the rotating force from my body, transfer it to my fingers, and attack straight at him. His hand clenches, carefully feeling the heat rising in each muscle fiber. That's right, this feeling, this is really fun. Kang Chul smirks, this is boxing. Li Ho, sitting on the floor, is also excited. If I wasn't trained before, then things would have been very dangerous. Now things are still under control. Drawl is flowing profusely from his mouth, a few rays of murderous intent flashing in his eyes. This match is really fun. This is fighting. In the classroom, a male student with red hair is slumped on the desk, sleeping soundly, snoring. Something suddenly falls onto his desk with a thud, making him jolt in surprise. He looks up bewildered. The other students are immersed in their own space in the evening self-study session. He sits up straight, using his hand to wipe away the saliva that's dripping from his mouth, then discovers a chocolate bar on the desk. The paper underneath it is written, "Why are you always sleeping when I come? Are you a sleep demon?" He takes his phone out, looking at the time. This time, he wears his backpack, then picks up the chocolate bar, muttering, "I won't be late." He quickly rushes out of the class, conveniently peeling off the black thing. Lee Hejin brings that sweet thing to his mouth, biting a piece hard, chewing it noisily. Reaching the end of the hallway, he suddenly discovers a black shadow in the classroom. It seems that there's a very intense fight happening inside. Li Ho raises his hand to resist the series of punches coming from Kang Chul. One of his legs at this time suddenly coils up. It lands accurately on Kang Chul's chest. Li Ho swings, kicking his opponent backwards. Kang Chul says resentfully, grinding his teeth, "This is boxing. Why are you using your legs?" Li Ho raises his head, a bit amused, opening his mouth. "What is boxing?" Finishing his words, he jumps up from the ground. Li Ho flies up into the air, saying loudly, "What rule says that you can only use your hands when fighting?" That leg stretches straight, kicking hard into Kang Chul's face. He angrily grinds his teeth, the green veins bulging all over his face. Li Ho swings his leg up again, kicking hard into one side of Kang Chul's left arm. He raises his hand to defend, blocking the other person's continuous kicks. Sweat starts to pour out, soaking his whole body. I didn't know that the kicks could be this strong. He jumps in surprise when he sees that the leg is intending to hook down below him. Alarm bells start to ring loudly in Kang Chul's head. "No, this isn't good. If my lower body gets weakened then." He strains, trying to focus his force into his leg. Just 1 second later, Li Ho's leg quickly touches his leg. But both of them suddenly petrify. Nothing happens next. Li Ho, without hesitation, steps back quickly. He thinks with pleasure, it's over. A feeling of worry starts to rise in his heart. Yang Yang's power-enhancing effect has worn off. Kang Chul speaks, calling, "You." It seems that he's discovered it. Feeling Li Ho's weak kick, "You're exhausted, huh?"